You know those moments when everyone gets it wrong? This was one of those moments. For 2 months, she watched silently, took notes, never argued with anyone. When she picked up that rifle, everything changed. The instructors stared in shock, because that shot wasn't just a shot. It was the end of history's biggest misjudgment and the beginning of a legend. Welcome to Stories of Honor. Before we begin this powerful story of hidden expertise, unexpected heroism, and a soldier's silent mastery, tell me in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this need to be remembered, hit that subscribe button and help us keep these stories alive. As the morning mist was still clearing over Fort Mason Military Training Center, 150 military instructor candidates gathered in the breakfast hall. The room was filled with laughter, boasting, and loud arguments, a typical male-dominated environment. As you walk among the tables, you notice the only female figure in the corner, Sergeant Elena Vasquez. 34 years old, 5 feet 5 inches tall, medium build, Elena was practically invisible. Her brown hair in a neat bun, uniform perfectly pressed, but no feature remarkable enough to draw attention. She sat alone at the back table taking careful notes. While other candidates told each other about their achievements, Elena listened silently. "I did 3 tours in Iraq," Sergeant Rodriguez boasted. "I was EOD in Afghanistan," Corporal Williams added. Elena just sipped her coffee and wrote something in her notebook. When Master Sergeant Thompson entered the room, all noise stopped instantly. His 20 years of experience showed on his face. His battle scars told stories. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said in his powerful voice, "this isn't summer camp. Only 15% of you will graduate here. The rest will go home." Elena's pen stopped, but there was no sign of fear on her face. Just attention, as if she was analyzing every word, every tone. In the first week, Elna had become practically transparent. She was above average in physical training, but didn't stand out. She didn't ask questions in tactical classes, but listened to everything. She didn't comment in weapon cleaning classes, but her technique was perfect. "Hey, Ghost Girl," Sergeant Davis called out one day. This nickname stuck to Elena because she was there but wasn't, listened but didn't speak, existed but wasn't visible. In the third week, Instructor Lieutenant Colonel Hayes made a special announcement. "Tomorrow, you have your long-range shooting test. You'll hit targets from 600, 800, and 1,000-meter distances. This test is very critical for transitioning to the Specialist Sniper program." That night, Elena was alone in the library again. Ballistics books, wind calculation tables, atmospheric pressure effects. She took pages of notes. The others were drinking at the bar, talking about how easy it would be. As Davis passed by Elena's table, he mocked, "What are you reading? Ghost? Romance novel?" His friends laughed. Elena didn't even lift her head. She just turned the page. 5 a.m. The shooting range was shrouded in mist. 30 candidates were preparing their equipment. Elena's rifle was a standard issue M24, unlike others' specially modified weapons. But Elena checked this rifle as if she'd been using it for years. "First distance, 600 meters," the range master shouted. "Candidates line up." They shot one by one. Rodriguez, 8 points. Williams, 9 points. Davis, 7 points. When Elena's turn came, no one was paying attention. Some had even moved away for coffee. Elena took position, controlled her breathing, measured the wind, rested the rifle stock against her shoulder. 3 seconds of silence. Bang! 10 points, dead center, shouted the target controller. A few people turned their heads, but most thought it was a coincidence. Second distance, 800 meters. Wind factor comes into play at this distance. Be careful. Davis grinned uncertainly. "Ghost Girl's luck ends here," he whispered to his friend. Elena prepared with the same composure again. But this time, more people were watching. The notebook she had carefully taken notes in was beside her. She calculated wind speed, direction, barometric pressure, position, breathing, focus, bang. 10 points, dead center again. This time the silence was different. People were looking at each other. Instructor Hayes frowned. Two perfect shots couldn't be coincidence. Maybe she's lucky, Rodriguez muttered, but his voice wasn't very convincing. Final distance, 1,000 meters. Only experts can hit this distance. The atmosphere had changed. Elena was no longer invisible. Everyone was watching her. The wind was stronger. The target looked like a tiny dot. While Elena was checking her rifle, Lieutenant Colonel Hayes approached her. Sergeant Vasquez, he said quietly, have you shot from this distance before? Elena looked at him. There was something in her eyes, calm but deep. No, sir. This is my first attempt. Hayes looked skeptical. Are you sure? Yes, sir. This is my first attempt with this rifle at this distance. Hayes stepped back. Elena took position. This time, her calculations took longer. She opened her notebook, looked at her notes. Wind direction, temperature change, humidity rate. She was calculating everything. 5 minutes passed. Everyone was waiting. Elena finally indicated she was ready. Complete silence. Only the sound of wind, position, hold breath, heart rate control, trigger pull, bang, 10 seconds of waiting. Then the target controller's voice. Impossible. 10 points, dead center. How? How is this possible? There was absolute silence on the range. 29 male candidates were looking at one woman, and that woman had made 3 perfect shots without any grand gestures. Lieutenant Colonel Hayes took his radio. To command center. Review Vasquez's file urgently. Now. Elena put her rifle in safe position and stood up. There was no proud expression on her face, as if doing such a thing was very normal. Davis approached, his voice trembling. How did you do this? Elena looked at him. For the first time, she really looked. For 2 months, I watched all of you. I noted your mistakes. I learned your techniques, and I applied what was correct. But you had never shot. Wrong. I had never acted like I had shot. Master Sergeant Thompson came with a file in his hand. His face was pale. Sergeant Vasquez, he said, we need to talk to you. Everyone was listening curiously. According to this file, you worked in Marine Corps. You were in the Scout Sniper program. Elena nodded. Yes, sir. And you have a record. 1,247-meter confirmed kill. Silence. Absolute silence. Why did you hide this information? Elena took a deep breath. Because men don't want to see without prejudice how good women can really be. I gave them a chance. I let them prove themselves. Then I proved myself too. Rodriguez's voice was hoarse. Are you the legendary Angel, that sniper in Ramadi? Elena remained silent. Angel of Ramadi, Williams whispered. 42 confirmed kills. No one ever saw her face. They only saw her impact. The atmosphere completely changed. Instead of mockery, there was admiration. Instead of dismissal, there was respect. Elena was no longer Ghost Girl. She was Angel. Lieutenant Colonel Hayes approached. Sergeant, why did you come here secretly? After leaving active duty, I wanted to train the young generation. But I knew that if I revealed my true identity, they would make me an instructor. I wanted to be a student. I wanted to understand them, connect with them. What will you do now? Elena looked around. 29 pairs of eyes were looking at her. But now there was no mockery, no curiosity, only respect. Now real training begins, she said, because being a sniper isn't just about shooting. It's about observation. It's about patience. And it's about making the right decision at the right moment. The following weeks were completely different. Elena was now the secret instructor, but she maintained her student identity. She participated in training with others in the mornings, gave special lessons in the afternoons. Shooting is easy, she told Davis, but choosing the right target is hard. Have you ever faced a situation where an enemy soldier and a civilian were in the same frame? Davis shook his head. No, I have. 23 times. 23 times I chose not to shoot because a real sniper doesn't just hit, they protect. The last week of the program was the final test. Hitting a moving target from 1,500 meters, strong wind, limited visibility. Everyone tried in turn. The best was Rodriguez, 8 points. Elena's turn came, but this time she made a different proposal. Sir, if you allow me, let's make this test a bit more interesting. What do you suggest? 2,000 meters, windy weather, and with eyes closed. Everyone was shocked. Impossible, Williams whispered. Elena smiled. For the first time, she really smiled. There's no such thing as impossible. There are just people who aren't practiced enough. Elena took position. She closed her eyes. She listened to the wind. She analyzed the surrounding sounds. She stayed like that for 5 minutes. Are you ready? Asked the rangemaster. I'm ready. With her eyes closed, she shot using only sounds and instinct. Bang. Everyone held their breath. They waited 30 seconds for target control. 10 points. Dead center. This is impossible. Elena opened her eyes. Not impossible, just different. When the program ended, Elena continued to maintain her identity. But now everyone knew there was a legend among them. At the graduation ceremony, Lieutenant Colonel Hayes made a special speech. This term, there was someone special among us. She taught us that real power is not in noise, but in silence. Real skill is not in boasting, but in performance. And real leadership is not in standing in front, but in supporting from behind. When Elena received her diploma, there was no special ceremony, but 29 male candidates gave her a standing ovation because she hadn't just taught them how to shoot. She had taught them how to live. This story teaches us expertise never disappears. It's just used in different ways. Elena Vasquez protected her country on the battlefield. Now she protects the young generation at the training camp. Battlefields change, threats increase. But the strongest defense mechanism is education. And the people providing this education can be ordinary-looking heroes. Look at trainers, mentors, silent observers with different eyes. You can never know what stories are in their past. And remember, the quietest people sometimes have the most powerful skills. Have you ever seen an unexpected talent from someone quiet? Have you regretted underestimating someone? Share in the comments. If this story touched you, subscribe, because at Stories of Honor, we'll continue telling the stories of silent heroes. See you in our next story. Until then, look at the ordinary people around you with a little more respect, because the person protecting you might be much more powerful than they appear.